Yeah, before I joined CallBlitz, it was always the self-talk that I'd have to try to give myself and motivate myself. And oftentimes I feel like the self-talk is probably the hardest part, but when you are around other people that are doing the same, but also are encouraging you to just get out of your own head and just keep continuing, not just through the motions, but continue going forward because you don't know what someone else's encouragement could do of just saying like, hey, you're all good. That was a bad call. They weren't receptive. They may have been in a bad mood or something, and just get to the next one. And them just encouraging you to maybe get to that next one or those next 5 or 10 could lead you down the opportunity to potentially booking another meeting or multiple meetings. And I think just having that encouragement in that community has been super helpful. When I get into a call and someone's there to debrief, just the little hints or clues to be able to say, hey, how could you improve that next time? I think obviously having you know, the the cold calling hours with Ryan, with Mac, with Charles, with Hana or with Heidi as well too. I think just having that ability to have multiple people that have been doing it for a long time, but just not someone who's kind of skewed in like they're paying you, as a manager or a leader, but someone who has a real like unbiased filter to just say like, like Ryan will do sometimes of just like, hey, just slow the heck down, for a second, or you're saying a lot of fillers, remove them, just get on to the next one, try it, put it into practice. I think it's been super helpful because if you think about it, if you don't have that real time capability or your manager or your leader's just, busy, you might not be able to get that feedback and actually put it into practice. And I think call recordings are great. That's all awesome. But when you can just do it live in real time, and I say this all the time because I'm a CrossFit coach by nature. I have been for the last 8.5, 9 years. When you can see somebody do something and then say, hey, I'm going to give you critique and feedback. This is what I want you to do next time. Let's go ahead and do it, here in the next minute or whatever with a rep or whatever it may be. And then you see it and then it clicks, man, there's nothing better. And I think that's awesome, whether it's from just a peer, right? Who's younger, older, same age, or someone who's like Ryan, Matt, Charles, whoever, that can give you that feedback, I think has been an instrumental part of, why I think CallBlitz is so valuable. I honestly called with Charles Needham for a long time. He was part of a former organization that had a CallBlitz room where him and another gal called, and I actually got to meet Charles. I came into his room and would call with him, every so often. And I think just having that camaraderie and that community to call with other people, because I was also by myself at the time for almost a year and a half, I knew that I needed the external motivation. I needed, people to just help me out because I have just a lot of call reluctancy, and just the self-talk just was just not enough sometimes. And just being able to be encouraged by other people doing the work and just putting in the reps, was something that I knew I wanted to get back into, as an individual contributor at a new company. And that's why I took the leap, because I knew how valuable just being around other people that were doing it could be for me. What's awesome to me is I don't have anybody on my team. And I think what's awesome is there's fractional people. There's you two individuals here. And I think what's been awesome for me is just the actual how do I want to phrase this? The opportunity to give back to others at the same time. I've actually found it more valuable to actually help and encourage some other guys when they're in ruts, because if you think about it, if we were all siloed and separated, we wouldn't be able to get that encouragement. And I've actually found it just as valuable for me to just encourage someone else and say, like, shut the negative thoughts up in your head right now, because what you're going through, we're all going through, and we've all gone through, and we're all going to continue to go through. But what you're saying to yourself is not true. And so just honestly, it's done more benefit for me to encourage other people and be around other people to encourage than it has actually me getting the critique and feedback. While I have received a lot and I have received a lot of wins from it, I think just the wins itself has been the ability to just keep pushing through because I know the other guys next to me, gals, are doing it. And so I don't want to let myself down, but I want to, it's they're holding me accountable too at the same time. But I think it's been so awesome just to say, hey, I know you're going through something right now and I can hear it in your voice. Let's just shut that up for a second and just keep pushing through. You're doing fine, has been just as valuable to me, which has been cool and unique. I'd say just get out of your own way, your own head, your whatever it may be. I had the, grateful opportunity that my organization could pay for the CallBlitz community. And I think whether it's you needing to do it yourself, whether it's the organization doing it. And if I would say if you're by yourself, like me, like you are, or I am, I would say 100%. Like you need to do it, you should do it because you're going to learn from other people, you're going to get great coaching. But I think at the same time, you have to be in here. There's a lot of us that are in here consistently day in and day out, whether we like it or not. It's just like going to the gym like I do every day. Not every day is going to be fun. Not every day is going to be exciting. But again, someone's bad day might be someone else's good day. And if you can be encouraged by someone's good day on your bad day, well, then I think it is worth the price of admission, 1,000 times over, because just that encouragement alone. But I think also just from a community standpoint, whether you have multiple folks, the fact that you could get whether you're bringing in a manager or leader could be huge because then that way it's like you're getting the real-time coaching, you're giving the real-time feedback, but then you're also getting someone like Ryan, like Charles, like Mac, like Hetty that are going to give that, kind of unbiased, like no fluff, like, hey, I don't want HR to hurt me. Be like, hey, what if Ryan just gave you some feedback of what you heard? Hey, you should probably just shut up and listen. Yeah, you should probably do this. Like you did this. Maybe if you tried pivoting there, because when you have two different sets of views, you could also be able to benefit a lot more from it than someone just trying to tap you on the back and say, "Hey, good job. You didn't get him this time. Get him next time." When really sometimes you need the no fluff and just say like, "Dude, you messed up on that one. It's all good, but here's what you need to do better next time." It could always benefit even from those that have multiple teams and or a manager or leader at the same time. I think there's just a lot of, individuals out there that say, cold calling is dead and cold calling doesn't work. And, there's a lot of LinkedIn, people that will say otherwise. I think every channel works until it doesn't. And I think no matter what industry or vertical you're in, I think you need to try it. But if you know that cold calling effectively works in your industry and in vertical, I think you need to be in CallBlitz, especially if you're by yourself, to get the feedback, to get the coaching, get the community that's going to encourage you, when the days are tough. And so I think that is so valuable and important because so many people want to say this or that. Well, I think if you, want to say this or that, and you're about it, you need to be in a community that embraces cold calling because I don't think it's dead. I don't think it's going anywhere. And it still works and is always going to work as long as people want to pick up the phone.